If you've been hearing all the buzz about Shelby Van Pelt's Remarkably Bright Creatures, well, you are in the perfect spot. We're going to break down the entire heartwarming and totally surprising story for you, from start to finish. Okay, but first, a huge heads up. This is a full-on spoiler fest. Seriously, we're going to reveal every single twist, every turn, including the ending. So if you want to read it for yourself without knowing what happens, this is your moment to hit pause. For everyone else, let's do this. So the story kicks off with probably one of the most unique narrators you will ever come across. He introduces himself with this incredible line. I know what you are thinking. Yes, I can read. Say hello to Marcellus. He's an octopus, and you guys, he is the absolute heart of this story. And right away, he drops this question on us that pretty much drives the whole plot. What if a genius octopus was the only one who could solve a 30-year-old family tragedy? I know. It's a wild idea, but trust me, it totally works. All right, let's really get to know this brilliant captive, shall we? Marcellus is the sarcastic, unbelievably smart, giant Pacific octopus, and to put it lightly, he's really not a fan of living at the Sowell Bay Aquarium. And this is where things get really intense. You see, giant Pacific octopuses are geniuses. They're famous for it. But their lifespan is super short, like only about 4 years. And Marcellus? He's already on day 1,299. The clock is literally ticking, and he is very, very aware of it. Okay, so we've met our incredible octopus. Now let's turn to the humans in this story. We're about to meet two people who are just feeling completely lost in their own lives, and they have no idea that a very clever octopus is about to connect them. So on one side, you have Tova Sullivan. She's a 70-year-old widow, and she finds this quiet comfort in cleaning the aquarium late at night. But underneath that calm surface, she's carrying this heavy, heavy grief for her son, Eric, who just disappeared 30 years ago. Then you've got Cameron Casmore. He's 30, feels like he's kind of failed at everything, and he's rolled into this tiny town chasing this ghost of a father he's never even met. So this is the part where these two lonely worlds start to smash into each other, and it's all thanks to a friendship that forms in the quiet, after-hours glow of the aquarium. It all kicks off one night when Marcellus is on one of his little escape missions and gets himself into some serious trouble. Tova finds him tangled up in power cords in the break room, but she doesn't freak out. She just calmly helps him get free. And then in this just incredible moment, maybe it's thanks, maybe it's just recognition, he gently wraps a tentacle around her arm. And that's it. That's when their secret friendship really starts. Now, Marcellus, he's a bit of a grump, and he has a pretty low opinion of people in general. As he says himself, humans, for the most part, you are dull and blundering. But he's starting to think that Tova, well, she might just be the exception to the rule. So as this kind of weird but amazing friendship gets stronger, our self-proclaimed smart cookie Marcellus puts on his detective hat. He starts using his insane observation skills to figure out the human puzzles that are happening all around him. I mean, from his tank, he sees everything. He sees Tova's deep, quiet sadness about her son. He notices that the new guy, Cameron, looks kind of familiar, kind of like Tova. And he gets this one basic truth about us. Humans are terrible at talking to each other. All the while, he's been collecting these little treasures that fall into his tank, which are basically clues. But see, one of these little treasures he's collected, it's not just some random piece of junk. It is the one thing, the single most important clue, that can unlock Tova's 30-year-old mystery. And it's been right there in his tank this whole time.
So what is it? It's a class ring. A simple class ring from the local high school that happens to hold an entire family's forgotten story.
Okay, so how on earth does this one little ring, found by an octopus, completely blow up a secret that changes absolutely everything for Tova and Cameron? Let's get into it. The key here, the thing that cracks the whole case, is the inscription on the ring. It says, Eels. And Marcellus, being the absolute genius that he is, figures it out. Eels stands for Eric Ernest Lindgren Sullivan, Tova's son. And this timeline just lays it all out for us. So look, 30 years ago, before he died, Eric Sullivan had a child. Now, fast forward to today, and his son, Cameron, shows up in town. And boom, that's the reveal. Marcellus connects all the dots and realizes Cameron is Eric's son, which makes him Tova's grandson. But, just knowing the truth isn't going to cut it. He has to somehow get this information to the humans who, let's be honest, aren't paying attention. So, with his own time running out, he plans one last incredible escape, not to save himself, but to make sure Tova finds that ring and finally sees the truth. And somehow he pulls it off. Tova finds the ring, the truth finally clicks into place, and we get the story's biggest, most wonderful twist. Cameron is her grandson. So now that this massive, life-changing secret is out in the open, the story starts to head towards its ending, which is a little bittersweet, but so satisfying. We get to see Tova and Cameron sort of awkwardly, then beautifully, start to build this family that they've both been missing their whole lives. Tova finally sells her house, letting new life come in. And Marcellus, well, his job is done. So in one last perfect act of friendship, Tova helps him escape, releasing him back into the ocean so he can spend his final moments in freedom. And Marcellus's final thoughts just perfectly sum up how deep their bond was. I would trust Tova with my life. I did trust her with my life, more than once, just as I trusted her with my death. The story really makes you stop and think about some big stuff. Like, what does it actually mean to be intelligent? And can friendship really cross any barrier there is, even between different species? In the end, it all comes back to that title, right? Marcellus signs off with his final judgment on humanity. He admits that we can be a mess, but occasionally you can be remarkably bright creatures. And that's just a perfect, hopeful thought to end on. That we can find connection in the most amazing and unexpected places.